Hello and welcome. This is Promise Resource Network's My Family. Hello, my beautiful co host in life and everything else, Izzy.
Hey, baby.
And I am Karen, of course. I'm going to let everybody come in to chat with us. So, Izzy, I chose an interesting topic for today. So, thoughts of relapsing. How do you feel about that topic?
That's actually a pretty good one. Because it happens all the time. Thinking and doing two different things, and to process through that is definitely going to be detrimental to somebody's wellness and recovery journey.
And so, you know me, I always like to, research my topic a little bit, do a little, spiritual for myself and kind of digging into my cranium. Um, but our ability to think is one of the greatest gifts that we were ever given, right? Um, it's to, be aware, it's to be able to consider our place in the universe and consider concepts such as, love, truth, beauty, and, all the amazing attributes that we, as people get to experience in our existence, right?
Oh yeah.
So, why is our thinking sometimes screwed up? Your thoughts
Because
on that?
for me, sometimes it's because I'm just not connected to what's going on in the here and now, and then get smacked back into reality. They're quick, but it's just I think a lot of teaching, a lot of understanding and researching definitely helps in that realm when it comes down to thinking about that the thoughts of relapse.
Yeah, of course. And I had to think inside my box. Sorry, my dog's getting curious. Um, so when we're in our unwellness, it's obvious it's hard to think clearly when you're using a substance, correct?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Um, so you're not clearly thinking about anything. But I think once I was in my wellness, my thinking still gets off track, still gets unbalanced. I still have thoughts and, feelings that I have to, clearly go in and, check myself.
Yeah, and that's one of the things you learned, um, as far as recovery goes, keeping yourself in check, and that's something that I've done too, to help me in my recovery journey. Just keeping yourself in check, staying in the here and now. And when I feel that I'm like going off a little bit, that's when the coping skills come in. And it could be anything, honestly. Fishing for me, working on a bike or a car, just kind of getting back in tune with something that's a healthy activity.
Yeah, and I racked my brain for what I feel leads me to those toxic thoughts. And I really racked my brain hard for this because I tried to think back to all the reasons I gave myself to want to go drink and want to go use. And one thing that came to my brain was the blame game. Um, blaming DSS for all of our unfortunate mishaps, or, blaming people that, just necessarily put me in a bad mood that day. And
Mhm.
I sit there and try to justify myself to why I need to use again.
Yeah, that's definitely not holding accountability for your actions. And I'm talking for myself too. I kind of started blaming everybody, but at the end of the day, they weren't there when you know relapse or anything in that nature comes into play. So I had to understand that vulnerability and understanding and accountability, so then I can keep working on other different things.
Yeah, and if you guys are tuned in with us, please feel free to chat along with us, discuss with us, and ask us questions if you possibly have any. My next one was romancing the idea of using. You know, thinking of all the good feelings that I used to get when using and how all the pain went away. That's one also thing that I try not to think of that kind of takes me to that toxic point where I feel triggered.
Yeah, definitely. Just thinking about the ideas of your past and not even concentrating on the bad things that happened, just kind of more or less loving the fact that you're feeling something that isn't an everyday thing, that's normal. And then getting that kind of like a rush, you know, like when you get on a roller coaster, some people may say, going up and down, getting that deep rush, and then not thinking, damn,
And it's unfortunate too, because if you actually think back to, you know, that thought process of, oh yeah, I love that feeling, but then, you know, the next time you need a bigger amount to actually recreate that high again. And, you know, once you actually think into the more positive aspect of it, it doesn't seem like it's worth it when you're actually in that wellness. So that's a big one that I have to keep out of my thought process. So, another big one for me is regret and thinking about the past and thinking about all the horrible things I did to get me in that situation to begin with.
yeah, yeah, definitely self awareness.
And my last one is the whole procrastination piece. You know, just one drink won't hurt, or you know, smoking one blunt won't hurt. But we all know that saying. I know you know that saying better than I do, but you know, the man takes a drink, the drink takes the man, and the drink takes a drink. And that is a big one for me. So, Izzy, you want to check in who's with us today?
Yeah, Tanisha D. Harris is on with us, and she says, sorry, at one of those days.
Allergies. It's horrible.
Our ability to be aware and consider our place in universe. Why is our thinking confused? I may not be connected to here and now and will be smacked into reality. I have seizures, and I recently came out of the hospital, and I'm working on the recovery and finding resources. I try to list my seizure triggers and avoid those triggers. My biggest obstacle is finding skills to reduce my anxiety and stress, which causes seizures as well as limit symptoms of dizziness and fatigue, which causes falls. Regret and thinking about the past, staying the past will make me stagnant, and I have to be focused on now and better future. Yeah, definitely focusing on looking into the future, but also being present too is uh is a must.
And I appreciate you sharing your story with us and your vulnerability. I know it's a big thing to admit that, you know, we have addictions and that we have, you know, bad thoughts. But I mean, so what do you do today, you know, to keep yourself in check?
I have a bunch of coping skills, meditation, planting. Like we took up that planting hobby. I like a lot. I love it. I like seeing things grow and flourish. That's just makes the day go by a whole lot better when I see my little plants in the front. Your plant too that's growing, and just being able to keeping it alive. It's just like it's therapeutic.
Yeah, and you know, that accountability piece is a huge biggie. Like I have that written in all caps and exclamation points just because it is such a biggie. And you
Mhm.
know, I have to check my thought patterns on a regular basis. Um, you know, to see how I'm actually doing internally, because I know some of us as women, you know, kind of hide our emotions, kind of bury them, We don't want people to know that we're actually truly suffering on the inside and we're, putting on that brave face on the outside. And I know you as a man go through the same things because, you want to look
Stigmas.
like.
It's all about those stigmas and masculinity. So, but I don't care. I'll cry if I want to.
Yeah, but I continue to take a personal inventory of my thoughts. And when I look back at it, I have to admit, when I am wrong and when, those thoughts that I have are not for wellness. They're in my, unwellness. And then, it goes back to things that I take to heart. I can spot when I'm heading toward a habit or anything that, can fuel or trigger my addictive tendencies. It's what I like to call stinking thinking.
hmm hmm Definitely triggers. I try to avoid triggers, but life is life, and it's gonna put whatever it can in front of you. But keeping control of myself or attempting to, and then realigning and figuring that
Not
out.
going to be like everyone else.
Oh, I think you're going in and out. Or is it me?
Oh, did the internet go in and out?
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, are we back yet?
you good?
Okay. I knew some bad weather was rolling in, so I knew something was going to happen today since it's my family.
Oh, of course.
So stinking thinking. So what are thoughts that you have to deal with on a daily basis, being a peer support specialist. Us being in recovery, I know we have, horrible thoughts daily that we have to deal with.
Yeah, it's just redirecting those thoughts. Honestly, redirecting them into a positive environment, positive area, positivity. I mean, I just like to live in positivity, even when I'm sick and all that. I mean, you see it yourself. I'm always try to stay positive as much as possible, but it's just recognizing and understanding your body and being in tune with yourself. That's why I like the meditation piece. Meditation kind of brings me back to my center, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, I know you're a big one for meditation. So I did look this up because I thought this was really interesting. Mindfulness meditation and thoughts of relapse. So it says that mindful meditation can be particularly a good technique for dealing with thoughts of relapse. It also allows the individual to observe their mind in a far more objective way.
Mhm.
Um, the mediator can see that ideas of relapse just arise and disappear again. People can treat such thoughts in much the same way as an itch on the body. So, what do you think about that?
I mean, it just all depends on the individual, really.
Yeah, I think it also depends on, the person's thought process. Because like I said, everybody's journey is different. I mean, our journeys, when we were trying to find our wellness was day and night.
Mhm.
I know you had a couple of slip ups, and I know tried to skate by through the programs. I thought I was,
Yeah.
evil Knievel and could get away with things, but it doesn't always work out that way, does it?
No, of course not. I mean, it took me what almost a year, about a year before I got into to really trying to recover and do what I needed to do. Not only for you and the family, but for myself. Because if I kept going on that same path, I don't think I would ever be anywhere near where I am today.
Yeah, and Miss Tanisha said, I share my story with safe people and know I am not alone. I just hope that I can get peer support and resources to get right back on track. Yes, I have negative thinking and use positive affirmations. That is perfect. Those positive affirmations can literally, well, for me personally, it could literally make or break my day.
Mhm.
Um, if I didn't have that sense or that push that I could do it, then I probably wouldn't have tried so hard.
Oh yeah.
And Miss Tanisha said mindfulness meditation and thoughts of relapse allow mind in an objective way. Exactly. And hey, Miss Erin, we miss you so much. Please feel free to chime in. Hey, girl, how are you?
I'm good.
But so Izzy, how to fight thoughts of relapse? What are some things you found that were helpful?
For me, that was helpful to fight those urges, those thoughts. For me, I used the thought of losing my family again. I couldn't barely even think about losing y'all again because it was already a horrible thing. Just my whole life over one night, just done. Everything was gone.
Yeah,
And
and
then,
oh, continue. Sorry, didn't mean to cut you off.
No, it's cool. That and then just looking towards a positive future. I like to be positive. I mean, even though the worst of the worst has happened, I still think about positives. And just kind of finding a way around that negativity. Because sometimes you can't get away from it, but you can get around it.
Yeah, and I mean, as well as, the meditation, all that kind of stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, you've got to realize you've got to do what works for you. I don't like to advocate that people choose someone else's similar story and walk because each recovery road is so different.
Yeah, because I went to NAAA, a Nuvia, a lot of places, and everybody always has a different opinion on something. What I pretty much just did, I listened to everybody as a whole, and I took what I could use from every situation, but not from any one particular. I just took little bits here, little bits there, and just kind of rebuilt myself. And those coping skills that I learned was detrimental. And she says, Tanisha says, let me see, let me go back a little bit. She said positive affirmations, right? So I also use positive affirmations, but what I do is I look in the mirror and I look at myself while using positive affirmations. Like, you are good enough. You are the best you can be. And you continue to keep building. That's why when people ask me if it's going to be, we got a doggy in here. Positive affirmations. Yeah, let's go back to that. I am the poop, the shit.
I mean, you can't ever concentrate when there's a little puppy in the room. I'm one of those, evil wives, like, oh, I want to take home every single dog I find. But I loved what Erin said. I wanted to read it. She said, recovery is a lot of trial and error. Relapse happens. Amen. 100%. Can't agree more than that. But it's not the end. Keep looking and finding what works for you. It's about the process, not perfection. Absolutely best thing she could possibly said. I totally 100% agree. I mean, you should never feel guilty about relapsing, having thoughts of relapse. We are all human, and we are just at this point trying to take it one day at a time.
Yeah, definitely. She hit it right on the head. It's a progress, not perfection. I work on my recovery every day, and it's been in November. What is it? November should be 4 years. November, the end of November. Wow.
Yeah, once you actually look back at it and the time collects, you feel like you're adding more to your wellness bank. So when you have, I have to take some of Miss Lisa's words, but she had stated, the positivity you take, fill it into your personal little piggy bank. So when days come up that are, toxic and horrible and you can't get by, you can withdraw from that wellness bank to get through that day. So that is a beautiful thing. I'm so glad that somebody was able to instill that in me. And Miss Tanisha said, sometimes I forget things because of my memory. I'm a mother of 5. I can't agree more. I forget everything if my head wasn't attached. So I need reminders and guides. I fell really hard and hit my head and was able to walk for some time now. But I am working to get better. I am grateful for each step I take, and I am mindful. I use deep breathing to stop my seizures and write poetry using my positive affirmations. And that is beautiful. I am so glad that works for you. It's done wonders for me as well. So keep it up, because it does get better. It absolutely, truly does.
It does.
And then Miss Aaron said, I think about using every day. And some days I can look in a mirror and tell myself I'm dumb for thinking that. But there are times that the feeling is heavy and I need something more to break away from the thought. And I can't agree more. Some days are better than others. I know there's some days where I'm literally fighting with the demon on one shoulder and the angel on the other. And we'll sit there and have bickering matches to who's going to win. And
but sometimes you can have 2 demons on each shoulder too.
And not think anything of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. And Ms. Tanisha said, what other things can you put in your wellness bank?
Everything and anything positive.
Exactly.
Anything and anything positive. Because that just means, let's say, so I put deposits in my wellness bank every day. I try my best to keep up with the positivity and the good. But there's those days where you're going to catch me in my car yelling at somebody because they're driving like a complete and utter
a-hole.
Yeah, a-hole. There you go. So I have to withdraw some of those deposits. I'm gonna have to withdraw a couple. But
Yeah,
traffic on 77 has been awesome though.
Dog's getting jealous over here.
It's doggy day.
Yes, it is doggy day. Well, we do have Easter coming up, so I know that can be, a truly stressful time for people, especially, going through the whole recovery, aspect of it. And I know there's going to be triggers, family drama, friends, so on and so forth. So this is where we can go back to the beginning and basically say, hey, it's okay to feel these feelings, and that you're just going to keep pushing by each single day.
Oh, yeah. It's just another day, just another day.
Miss Tammy's checking in with us. She is new here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is my family. Please feel free to chime in and chat with us.
Okay. Of course, yes. Yeah. It's okay not to be okay. And that's just another self-awareness piece, to where you're working towards your wellness. And that's why we like to advocate that wellness bank, because sometimes you're gonna have to take out some. You're just gonna have to.
Yeah, because looking back at it also, have you ever been told, oh, well, you're not trying very hard if you relapse, or you're an addict because you can't quit, or, something negative, when somebody comes at you, very opinionated.
Yeah, I withdraw and disconnect from somebody like that right away. Right.
Yeah, and I think
I'll even be self-expressive and tell them what's up. Like, you can have your opinion, but just like my mother-in-law used to always say, an opinion and $1, give me a cup of coffee. Well, now with inflation, hold on.
Now with inflation nowadays, nope.
Give me a cup of coffee.
But I think that was really detrimental on my recovery, because it made me feel like maybe I couldn't recover. I thought that was more toxic to my whole thought process on wanting to find wellness. I thought that was extremely toxic. Am I the only one that feels this way?
I'm sure there's plenty out there.
So, all right. So, what if you are using and have relapsed?
Get back on track.
What can
Think
we?
about,
Which
you know?
and it's okay, you know.
Yeah,
So-
you could bounce back real fast. You know what I'm saying? One relapse doesn't negate months or years of hard work.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
So,
make you weak. It doesn't make you an addict. It doesn't make you anything besides human being.
see, it wouldn't be my family if we weren't talking on top of each other, right? So,
Right.
what do we do to move back towards wellness if, we do use or we have relapsed? For you, what do you think?
If I were to relapse, what would I do? What steps would I take? First off, take accountability. Always being accountable for what you do, no matter if it's good or bad. And communicate with the people that are in your support group, your family, your kids, even down to the dog could support. And we know Karen loves getting support from her pupper. But yeah, just getting back on track. It's just like it's kind of like having $100 bill, right? And that $100 bill goes and you throw it in the mud, you get it dirty, Sharpie it, pencil, all that stuff all over, right? But at the end of the day, can you tell me someone that won't take that $100 bill out of your hand in a skinny minute? It doesn't change you. You're still $100 bill. Somebody is always going to be a support. All you got to do is just look for those, and that's how I look at it. I'm a shiny $100 bill. I just took off all the ink.
Yeah, and let's check in with who's chiming in with us. Miss Tanisha said people judge you so much, and it can be hard. Truly, it can. I totally agree. And Miss Tammy says our youngest son is homeless, states away, an alcoholic and addicted. I'm so sorry to hear that, but please know that there is hope out there. We can take it day by day. We are here as peer supports to help you if you need any information. So we'll give that number out at the end of my family. And then Miss Tanisha said she agrees. And Miss Tammy said, thanks. This helps me understand what he's going through. And it is rough because even in, your wellness, we still go through these, feelings as well.
Yeah, feelings and urges always. It's just kind of what really, really, really stops me from going off and going back in my past as how I was really honestly the thought of just losing everything. I built up so much and so much positivity, and I help out people every day, and they help me out in return. And that's why I'm glad that I'm in the position that I'm in, because I can understand when if you go to someone that's clinical, someone that's just gonna kind of badger you and give you all these misdiagnoses and all these other things that at the end of the day who you are. Why let that up to somebody else? That's why I work hard every day. It's a process every single day. From the minute I go to sleep, the minute I wake up, just continuing on that positive path. And it's difficult. It's really, really, really difficult. But it's even more difficult when you're inactive. Unwonted.
Oh, yeah, of course. And let's think about it this way for myself. I kind of lost my train of thought a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
It wouldn't be my family if we didn't have a
You
little
blew
dysfunctionality.
my mind with that. I was thinking of one thing, and then your comment just went through. So since Miss Erin's in the room, I'm going to shout out to her. She taught me a lot about this. So harm reduction strategies.
Uh-huh.
I know Aaron's taught me so much about this. And I found that, I really did practice it, when I was going through my issues and my thoughts of relapsing and actually relapsing. So what is harm reduction? So I wrote a little bit down things you can try to practice harm reduction, and this should give you an idea of what it is. Using a nicotine patch instead of smoking, consuming water while you're drinking, needle exchange programs, using in a safe place with someone you can trust are all ideas and ways of harm reduction in the event if you were to relapse.
Yeah, it's kind of like blunts to bowls or from needles to a bowl. That's harm reduction. You're not stabbing yourself, you're smoking it now. And then eventually you just keep working that same process until you find a medium or even find a way out of, giving a drug or a liquid or substance, anything, the power over you. And it's more or less like regaining your power, really. Slowly but surely, like we always say, baby steps turn into big feet.
Mm-hmm. And every little tiny inch adds up. And then at the end of the day, you're a lot farther ahead than you think. So I learned in my recovery through the program I went through, they actually use like a pillar system for harm reduction, which I thought was really interesting. Because I know when we were going from our unwellness to our wellness, I know we practiced this as well. I know we used to drink, gallon size bottles, and to kind of wean ourselves back, we cut out drinking so much and we cut down the amounts until we eventually didn't need any at all.
Yep, definitely. Yeah, we went from gallons to half gallons to fifths, little bottles, and then all of a sudden it was like, man, no point.
Yep, no point. And you just you just felt like you didn't need to keep using it. It just isn't giving you that same effect. So then I know me and you did also replace one addiction with another. I know, unfortunately, we stopped drinking and stopped doing all that stuff
That's the fortunate part. The unfortunate part.
To, like, for example, we smoked more cigarettes and we unfortunately ate some food, but in a way that's, harm reduction because we're not doing things to certain parts of our body or, having to worry about, hitting each other and, creating that domestic violence aspect of it. And it did work because we don't use anymore.
Yeah.
But
our major problem was that we had to identify that alcohol was the problem in our relationship.
That's the whole main trick, I think, is why people don't feel like they can keep recovering. They don't address that they've actually hit rock bottom. It took, a big smack in the face to realize that you actually had hit rock bottom. And I don't think without that, that thought in your head, that thought process to say that, hey, you have hit rock bottom, I don't think I'd probably be in recovery now because of that. Yeah. So I feel like that was needed, much needed. But I want to check in again with everybody. So let's see. It's Miss Tanisha. There is hope. I have experienced homelessness, especially all of my epilepsy and losing my jobs. I was able to finally find a transition program that helped me get my health together and people who don't mind helping me. I went from working full time to not being able to work at all. And then Miss Tanisha said, Miss Tammy, there is hope and there are people who understand your son is blessed to have you as his support system. And then thank you so much, Miss Tanisha, for sharing that. That's one reason why we are here. Because even though we are in the positions we are in, Izzy, I know me and you still need support from time to time. And it's always okay to ask for it, regardless of what step you are in the recovery process.
It's always okay. That's why the main things are accountability and communication. If that's not in place, honestly, I don't think that I would be where I'm at right now, because I had to learn how to communicate effectively, and then I had to take accountability, because if I'm not accountable for myself, how can anybody else hold me accountable?
Right. And Miss Tammy said, he doesn't want anything to do with us. And Tammy said, thanks so much. And I'm so sorry you are going through that. I can relate. I did go through something similar when I was in active addiction. I, shut out my family. I shut out my parents. I even shut out my own children, sadly. And, you don't realize how important something is until you actually lose it.
Mm-hmm.
So that was a big realization for me to change. But Izzy, let's finish up with the harm reduction and we'll call it a day, because I know tomorrow is Good Friday and I know everybody is wanting to get on with their life. But
did you read? Well, before you go in that, I got this bracelet from the courts, and this is what it says. This is the one I ended up picking. One day, all the hard work will pay off.
very, very, very true. Yes.
Love it.
And it does. Everything in life, I find, comes around in full circle. So if you put the work in, you put the time, you put the dedication in, anything that you achieve or you set your mind to, you're going to achieve.
Oh, yeah.
But going back to harm reduction, I learned that recovery is a process. If you are into heavy active addiction, prevention is key. Harm reduction and then enforcement of that, and then treatment. I feel like unless you prepare the shell, you're not going to get the inner workings of the treatment if you're not in actual wellness.
Yep. And we know firsthand, nobody wants to do any of these treatments or anything. Nobody. But once you actually give it a chance, just giving it a chance, that opportunity, like you want an opportunity, give the programs opportunity, then that's when you'll see the real difference. Really, honestly, just having an open mind and an open ear and just the capability of actively listening without judgment, and never know. Sky's the limit, honestly.
Yep. So I just want to leave everybody with a little bit of, I want to say it's a trick sheet hint thing. I'm lost for words again. Just never, ever feel guilty for having thoughts of relapsing, and never feel guilty if you relapse. You can always get back on track again.
Like that.
It is very possible. So, my beautiful, glorious co-host, would you like to take us out with the front desk number, please?
Yes, indeed. Promise Resource Network's front desk is 704-390-7709, and the lovely Miss Kim will be on the phone with you if you call.
Yep, and let me see if I can find the warm line number. All discombobulated today. And this is for Mecklenburg County residents. The Mecklenburg County warm line. Would you like to take us out with that number, Izzy?
Okay. Yep, Mecklenburg County warm line is free, confidential, 24/7, and judgment free. And the number is 833-390-7728.
And we hope everybody has a wonderful, amazing Easter. We hope everybody has delight with their family, food, everything. And we'll see you guys in 2 weeks.